EA Sports is in the game. Emos, holla back.
Madden NFL 2000.
Showtime! Woo! 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 Silent and profiling. Woo! It's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313, and by my side is my main man, my Toucan Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. Mikey, happy Monday to you. I know you're tired, but you're here with the Mafia. What is up?
It's been a minute since I've had that heard that opening.
I know, right?
You know,
it's been a while, guys, since we've been on Monday night, and man, it does feel good because it's been a while, like Mikey said, and we haven't had that that intro and everything, all the whole thing, the whole kits and caboodles. But right? Yeah, man, we had to come on to do a draft recap for all of y'all, and we decided why not do it tonight because it's been so long since we've been on a Monday night. And by the way, we will be back on Mondays and Fridays once training camp picks back up. Mondays officially. We're every Friday night. You can find us on Mafia Sports Report on YouTube. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a show or a video. With that being said, Mikey, the draft is over. Your thoughts?
Okay, for those that follow the 8 hours of content that we put out for rounds 1 and rounds 2, I wasn't the happiest camper. Listen, I liked a lot of what we did in day 3. I really did. I don't hate our draft. I like that we touched a lot of positions that I thought we needed. The guys, let's see what it's going to end up being. You know, I mean, I'm It's kind of how I felt about it.
Meh.
I'm meh. Okay. Like
right.
I wasn't like pumped for any of, you know.
I mean, all right.
But
I hear you. It was underwhelming, is what I kind of came away with the draft. Is that what you're kind of feeling? Is that the feeling you have a little?
Do you remember 2 years ago when we passed on the guard and we took, Bernard, and I was just all kinds of hot.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And then Bernard turned out to be the stud.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned my lesson. Although I was disappointed that we didn't get Troy Franklin or Javon Baker, because those were the two that I really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna trust that Beane and his team know what they're doing.
Yeah. Look, man, with Spin's comment here about what did he say about Coleman? He would have gave it an A if Coleman. Listen, I love the Coleman pick, and not just because I wanted Coleman. I did a video on Coleman. I just think he brings what the Buffalo Bills have been wanting, which is that bigger receiver, that sure-handed receiver, the high catch, high catchability, 50-50 ball. That's something Josh Allen, I feel like, really hasn't had. And I think that's why Josh Allen was so high on getting him. You know, Josh Allen told Brandon Beane, that's the guy I like, and sure enough, we went ahead and drafted him. That's 2 years in a row. Josh Allen said, hey, I want this guy. He did it with Dalton Kincaid. He did it this year with Keon Coleman. Now, mind you, I personally, even though I love Keon Coleman, I love that pick. I wish we did add another receiver to this draft, a receiver with speed. It sucks going every year in the offseason here and Brandon Beane talk about we wish he had that speed to our game. It's like, but you had an opportunity and you didn't do it. So now maybe he's thinking Curtis Samuel is that guy who runs a 4.3, right? Curtis Samuel's not slow by any means. So maybe he's thinking that. Also, Khalil Shakir is not slow by any means as well. So I'm thinking, man, honestly, even though we all thought this draft was wide receiver heavy, which it was, maybe Brandon Beane and company felt the opposite. Maybe they felt like a lot of those guys weren't first round grades, and they were going to wait and get the guy they wanted in the second round and get some draft capital. And that's exactly what they did. So, but after that, there's some question marks in this draft where I'm like, they could have went somewhere else, different direction. This draft class, beside Keon Coleman and Cole Bishop, kind of older draft class. If you look at that, a lot of guys 24, 25, or I believe. So it looks like they're trying to get like 5th year, 6th year guys that are ready to go, ready to contribute right away. And like I said, except for Keon Coleman, who's 20, and Bishop, I believe, who's 21. So what are your thoughts on the age? Like, of
I want to hit on Sal's
comment.
Tell
me, yeah, because I'm bad at this. Tell me which.
Bills did their research. No more divas, and if you look at our entire draft class, it's all team guys. Most of them all were some kind of team captain. Bishop, team captain. Dwayne Carter, like 3-year team captain. Van Pran, team captain. Solomon, team captain. Grable, team captain. So all these guys that they grabbed were those culture guys.
Yeah.
The age thing, it doesn't really matter to me that much about the age thing. It really doesn't. Yeah. Most of these guys, like our top 4-5 picks, let's say our top 5, right? So Coleman, Bishop, Carter, Davis, Van Pran, all guys that are probably going to have, locks to possible get some starts in the NFL, right? All going to be either high, super depth or going to get some starts at some point over the next few years. But then you have a lot of, special teams guys. The linebacker out of Washington, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I think they call him Eddie.
Yeah, some of those guys. Hey, Ed.
Yeah,
Eddie,
I'm not even going to try that. I love the Javon Solomon pick. It goes away from the archetype. We talked about it. And what's going on to our hashtag guys? I think that's Mario in the house.
And hashtag in the building.
Javon Solomon kind of goes away from the archetype. We talked about a lot of this last year, Tommy, where Torrance wasn't an archetype of what we normally get, and then we drafted him. Solomon doesn't that huge, compress the pocket type of DN. He's more of the 3-4 outside linebackers, smaller, faster, bendier type of, rusher. But he's a true pass rusher, which is nice. He's not going to be on the field to, stop the run, but we have guys that do that. We need guys who can get to the quarterback.
I think, sorry to cut you off. I think Solomon is, and I might do a video on him. I think it's between him and Hardy are like my sneaky draft picks for the Buffalo Bills. The guys that I think can really blossom on this team. Hardy's a speedster, by the way, corner. He's a smaller corner. I think he's nickel. Like 5'9", a nickel corner. Yeah. So he's 5'9", but he has return ability. He ran the 5th, I believe, fastest 40 time at the combine. So he has real good speed. He has return ability. And Solomon, listen, the one thing the Buffalo Bills have struggled with is getting to the quarterback. We may be high in the league in pressure rate, and that's good. It's fine. But we seem to never get to the guy. We never seem to get to the quarterback. And here's a guy who's been dominating in college as far as getting to the quarterback. He had, I think, 16 or 17 sacks last year, led the nation. That's what he does. Now, run defense, not so well. He's also undersized for an edge. He's like 6 foot. But he has really long arms, which really help him as well. So I think he's going to learn from Von Miller, which is another good thing. At least we're going to take some positive of having Von still on the team, right? So if there's any positive left, guys, is that Von Miller could help the younger guys still out and at least give them some knowledge. He may not do it on the field anymore, but we'll see. But at least he can help out. And I am curious if Solomon goes to the camp. If Von's holding that, which I assume he is, that would be beneficial for him as well. So I think that's a good pickup. Hardy's a good pickup. I watched Hardy's tape. Like I said, a little shorter, but he's a physical guy. He also can get to the quarterback. I just like his play. So what do you think about those two guys? And by the way, any chats I'm missing, because I've seen a whole bunch wrong.
There's a bunch of stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
So let's start with Van Pran. Love the pick. Someone asked, do we see him starting day one? I don't. I think they're gonna try him out, see what happens. I think they're pretty committed to McGovern being the center this year. But if Van Pran goes in and just takes it, I don't think they planned on starting Torrance last year. He just took it from him.
Yeah,
He went in there and just took it. I have a feeling Van Pran goes in there and takes it, they'll slide McGovern back over. But it's really up to him. I like Hardy. I do.
Right.
And I like him from a return. That's where he's gonna get to the field first. As a punt returner. And then we finally have a backup nickel. We haven't really had a backup nickel. You know what I mean? It's been Cam Lewis, or Saran Neal, who really were the backup nickels, but neither one of them were really nickels. So it's nice to see that we actually put some stock there. But I think why they drafted him was for his punt return ability. The fact that he can play defense will be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, All Day Ray. That's what I'm going to be calling him. Hopefully he lives up to my nickname, All Day Ray. All Day Ray Davis. He's kind of like a Zach Moss to me. He reminds me a lot like him. He's a shorter running back who's bigger, kind of like a bowling ball type running back. But I think he has a little bit more speed than Moss, and I think he has better vision. But Moss, he runs physical like Moss, right? So that's why and they're both smaller backs. But I like what I saw from Ray Davis as well. Mikey, what's your thoughts on Ray Davis? Because we drafted him early. We drafted a running back early.
Not the running back I would have chosen.
Okay.
You saw what Moss did in Buffalo?
I did, but he also didn't have I think Ray Davis has better vision. I think the one knock I had on Moss early on, now I think Moss has gotten better with it, is his vision. I thought early on, Moss's problem was never breaking a tackle or anything like that. I think his problem was just his vision in the beginning. He ran into the back of an offensive lineman. He kind of, I don't know, his vision wasn't the greatest early on in Buffalo. I thought it got better when he moved on with the Colts, and they had a little better offensive line as well for him. But I think Ray Davis, if you go back and look at his tape, his film or whatever, his vision's really, really good. His cuts are really good. He's patient with his offensive lineman. It's another thing Zach Moss wasn't. He wasn't patient. He just run right in the back of him. So I like what I see. He's not fast though, but he's not slow. But his speed is like Keon Coleman in a way, right? So it's good, but it's not great, right? And by the way, Keon Coleman, pretty good punt returner. Didn't realize how decent he was in the punt return game. For a guy that everyone's saying so slow, boy, they sure trusted him back there, and he returned the ball pretty well.
Everyone says he's slow because he ran a 4.61 at the combine. He came back and ran a 4.52, I think, at his pro day. So he's not as slow as everyone makes him out to be. And
he was the fastest time in the gauntlet, I believe. He had the fastest time in the gauntlet.
In a bunch of drills. It wasn't just the gauntlet.
So
they also timed them all in when they were running the routes and stuff too. And they had the fastest time in all those.
Somebody told, I think, I don't know who I was watching, because I was doing some, people wanted to see what people had, their thoughts on Keon Coleman. They said that says a lot when a guy can run that like fast. That means they have really good hands. They trust them. They trust their hands a lot to run that fast. So a lot of receivers slow down because they don't trust their hands. And I guess they're saying, like with him, he trusted himself, trusted his hands to go full speed. So that's good to know, because once again, the Buffalo Bills have receivers that tend to drop to drop passes. And this is one guy that's sure-handed. You know, we'll see if he's sure-handed in the NFL. With Josh Allen, it's a different story, but I believe he will be. And my God, his press conference, Mikey, and his days in Buffalo. I don't know if you saw the Buffalo Bills. They did a video at 7 o'clock today. If you haven't watched it, go watch it later when we're done. But basically him going to Buffalo, the introduction, like his first days in Buffalo. I haven't
seen it yet.
Oh, it's so great, man. This kid is so funny, man. Him and Josh are going to really, really get along. They're like you could tell. Like, he's a goofball, funny as hell, already playing Madden as himself, and Josh Allen. Like, dude, this guy's great, man. So I think Bills Mafia is really going to love him. I saw
the viral video of him talking about when he shops for coats.
Yes, the $80 coats at Macy's.
Yeah. It made me laugh. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, he's just, you know, it's fine. I'll root for the kid. I hope he does well. I hope they all do well. My favorite pick of them all was the Dwayne Carter pick.
Okay.
You know, I was mad at the time because I wanted us to take the other receiver, but I love Dwayne Carter's game. And I think he's the perfect backup 3-tech that we that we didn't have. So when Ed comes out, we still have that version of
I like him
defensive tackle. Yeah.
Yes, he's mature. I think he was there 5 years, I believe. I think he was their captain as well. Solid player, man. You know, he really, really strong. Can bulldoze a lot of people. Like, I like what I saw. I think he'll be a good rotational piece for this defense as well. There was another one I meant to mention, and I don't. What's his name? Let me pull it back up here. Oh, the center. The center I like as well.
Yeah.
Yes. The long, ridiculous name, which I have no idea how they're going to put that on his jersey.
SVG.
Yeah. Right. He's going to have to leave something else, or they're going to have to really minimize. It's going to be wrapped around her long ways. He'll be the first player ever with it going down. But yeah, I think that was a good pickup, Mikey. I think he's another guy. And I said it going into this draft. I wanted them to draft a center because I don't want to give McGovern the keys right away. Like, let him earn it. If he beats out this guy, fine. But if this might be another player that may win the job. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how Cromer likes him. But don't be shocked.
I won't be. Trek comes in and says another player I like, that's a UDFA, is wide receiver Lawrence Keys. He has a good amount of speed and good hands. I don't know much about him.
I don't either.
I love that they signed undrafted free agent punter. I'm not gonna lie. That might be my favorite thing he did all weekend. he signed another punter.
And he's not bad from what I heard. So good. Like, I hope he beats them both out, because I don't want to do another year. I don't want to see Hawk for sure. If Martin wins the job, whatever. But I cannot see Hawk this year as a Buffalo Bills punter. Like, he's terrible. I'm sorry, guys. He was once good years ago, but get that guy the hell out of Buffalo. Hey, Scott Blakely in the house.
He says he loves everything about the draft. Very intelligent moves. Listen, I don't hate that where he went. You know, he went all over the board. He got a little bit of everything. It's kind of what I wanted us to do. He went center, interior, and tackle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Center, guard, and tackle. I wish he would have used one of those and grabbed another receiver. But other than that, I kind of like what he did. Ray Davis in the fourth was a little high for me when we had Braylon Allen on the board and a couple others. But
I liked Allen, but from everything, everybody was like dogging me on Twitter or saying, "Oh, he has fumble issues," blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, he's not going to be an every down back.
Yeah,
like, he's a bigger guy that's going to be used as surface.
My issue, my thing that I liked about Allen the most was he was one of the best pass protection guys.
That too, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But he's a 6'1", 200 something. I mean, he's a bigger back, but he's a physical back. You know what? Too, another player I really, really wanted in a 7th round, and of course, you knew he was my guy from the James Williams, and he wanted out, got drafted with Tennessee. So I'll be looking for him to see what he does this year. But I thought, why not in the 7th round take a flyer on a guy like that?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
My boy Franklin went back. Is in Denver with his college quarterback.
Yeah,
Bo Nix.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it just the draft was a little funky.
That Javon Baker ended up with New England.
Yeah.
Makes me want to throw up because I love that guy.
Yeah, that too. Jason is correct. So, because I think Marino was doing I forget. I think it was Joe Marino doing the numbers on like the salary that a first rounder gets compared to a second rounder. So we wanted up saving I think he was saying he's going to get like 9 million or something like that compared to 13 point something. So yeah, he saved a little bit, probably about 4 million. But you also got a 4-year deal on a rookie contract rather than
pick.
Keon, you think Keon Coleman's a 3rd round pick?
No. He also.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about the money, but yeah, you're right. He also acquired a 3rd. Exactly.
We took Dwayne Carter, the interior defensive lineman, that could be, big rotational guy for us. So absolutely. I mean, that was it. And Weston, I am so happy that you like Worthy. I'll be honest, he wasn't my cup of tea, but he's really fast, and Patrick Mahomes will run around and throw it deep to him. Let's just hope he catches it.
Yeah. Scott with the super chat laughing at me. Tommy, kudos to your draft attendance. I did go. Couldn't help giggle when they drafted out. I did feel bad. Well, it sucked. Yeah. But I had the experience was awesome. But I will say, though, once again, if you are older and a little bit out of shape like myself, and you you have to stand a long time in a crowded area. You probably want to be prepared for that. So
yeah,
I couldn't do it for 7 hours.
Also, Scott, don't forget, he ended up at when the draft part started, he was already at the casino.
Yeah, I got out of there, walked to the casino. But of course I heard it, believe it or not, I heard it from everybody. When we traded our pick, Mikey, everyone looked at me. It was like, I think I was the only Bills Mafia in this bar I was at, in this ESPN bar, and everyone turned. I was like, and they go, okay, right? So they turn to me and go, "What are you doing?" And they go, "So what do you do now?" And I go, "Well, we still got the 1st round pick, 32. We'll probably get Leggett. That's fine. I wanted Leggett anyways, right? Over Worthy, And then our pick came up, and the Bills traded."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my God." But then they said again, "What are you?" And I said, "Listen, I like Keon Coleman." And luckily we drafted the guy I wanted, because I'll tell you what, if we didn't draft a receiver, let's say we did, oh my God, I think Bills Mafia would have totally freaked out if he went, in the different direction, and everyone would be like, "What the hell is Brandon Beane thinking now?" But he did.
Thinking that.
I know.
Let's be honest. Then we come back and we sign Cephas, a guy who's been suspended for a year.
Oh my God!
Really?
I don't, guys.
Of all the free agents, that's who we signed.
I have no idea. And by the way, Brandon Beane, when he did his press conference before we found out it was Cephas, whatever his name is, he was like, "Oh, we're in talks with some guy," and I'm thinking, "Whoa." Okay, I almost wanted to call you and be like, "Bro, this could be like Michael Thomas," or it's almost like he's teasing us a little bit. And it's like I get the notification on my phone, and it's like, who the fuck is this guy? 1 year, and then I look him up. It's like, oh, former player got suspended for gambling. Oh my God. Wonderful 1-year deal. Why? Why couldn't you just invite him to camp? Well, why do you have to give him a deal? Unless this guy must have had a hell of an agent. I got to tell you that. Hell of an agent, boy. Or his workout was, bro, the best workout of his life. So I don't get it. Of all the receivers that are still out there,
that's who we went with.
That's who we went with. I mean, even if you're not going to do the trade, right? I get it. He said we're not. Hey, don't expect a trade. Trade. Fine. There's guys out there. Right.
Out there. Michael Gallup just signed with the Raiders. Michael Gallup at least has some size and some speed behind him. What the hell?
Right. I don't get it, bro. That move there is mind-boggling, head-scratching, whatever you want to call it. I mean, listen, he probably won't even make the team. I get that, but it's just, why even bother? Why bother? If he's available later and a guy gets hurt in camp, fine. Sign the Cephas guy, but why now? Like, what is the rush? I'd rather Beane sign nobody. You know
right?
what I mean? Like,
hit Roy's comment.
I got you.
The Cephas tore his ACL in 22, then was suspended for 23. And really, he's wide receiver 5'6" depth. You know, he's battling with the Shavers and the Shorters and the KJ Handlers and the Andy Isabellas. That's who he's fighting for a roster spot against. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd much rather have Shorter, who's our draft pick.
Hit Mike Hurdles up top.
Yeah,
talking about the Patriots.
The laughing one. Right here.
No,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patriots drafted some real bums. May can't throw and Polk can't catch. Okay, first let's kill the hate on Polk. Polk's actually was some of the best hands in this draft. Jalen Polk can catch. He's not a burner. He's kind of in the Keon Coleman mold of, you know, not a blazer, but the dude's got some crazy good hands and runs some routes. Jalen Polk is a fantastic receiver, and it pisses me off that he's in New England.
Damn, you heard it here first. If
you would have listened to me on draft night, I would have talked about Polk too. Like, I was a big fan of Jalen Polk. I think he didn't get the attention because he was in the same receiver room as Odunze and McMillan. You know, Jalen Polk was a dog. Polk got plenty of drops. They all have drops, Mike. All of them.
Except our boy Keon Coleman.
He has drops too, dude. They all drop the ball.
I'm just messing with you. Just getting under my skin.
Yeah. I like the
SVPG.
I love the SPV, you know. SVP. You know.
Yes. Right. SVPG.
I'm a big fan. When I saw that we drafted him, I was stoked because he's a legit center.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's what I wanted the year before. When I wanted him to get the guy from Ohio State, who, by the way, I think he's a starter now, isn't he? Is he not? The guy, I forget his name, but I wanted that replacement last year. But okay, they waited another year. This could be our potential center moving forward or in the future. It just depends how Cromer sees him, because I did hear them talk about that he can be switched to guard. Please don't play that game. Don't do that. Don't start fucking around with this guy. He plays center. That's what he does.
He's gonna play center, but he's also gonna get some work as guard just in case.
I get it. I know, but I'm just saying, don't pull a, you know, what was his name that would? Don't pull a Cody Ford on this guy. He is a true center. Yeah, fine. You can you know, show him some reps at guard, but you know, ideally we want him to be probably our future center. Especially if McGovern's not that guy. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Am I missing anything here?
Hit Mike's again. One more up. Says, how about May? He's got button. He's boomer bust. Like, he has the.
I think most of the quarterbacks are. Yeah.
He has the physical tools to be really good, but he's gonna have to put in that same work like Josh put in order to get better.
Yep, absolutely.
He was really good his junior year in North Carolina, and then his senior year he lost some guys and he just wasn't as good. So it'll be interesting to see if that coaching staff can get the best out of him, because he has all the tools. It's just it's such a gamble, you know, on if you can bring in the best out of him. Josh Allen's going to get more guys fired because they're going to be like, well, look, he's like Josh.
Yeah,
you know, he has all those same tools. Josh is an anomaly. Like he wasn't supposed to work out.
Right.
And he did.
Yeah. And most of those quarterbacks that have, you know, they shouldn't go in the first round, to be honest.
Look at
right.
Trey Lance. They said the same thing about Trey Lance. Oh, he has the Josh Allen comparison. He's never made it off of the bench.
Right. I think this whole quarterback class is a toss-up, man. I'm not comfortable with. If I'm a team, I don't know if I'm comfortable with any of them, really. Like, there's some that are better than others. Obviously, Caleb Williams, I think, has the best chance out of all of them, in my opinion.
He's in the best situation.
He is. That's what I mean. That too. That will help a quarterback grow. But
yeah,
I think his tools, what he did in college, I mean, he had some rocky game, but I just think he has his ceiling's super high, but he could also be a bust. You know what I mean? So, but I think Chicago did him right by drafting a receiver, a really talented one. and they're building that team up for him. So maybe they're putting him in a good situation his rookie year. But man, guys like JJ McCarthy, I mean, I'm just like JJ McCarthy for me is like he has the tools. He has a big arm,
and he's super young.
He's young, but he
doesn't have to do anything yet.
He reminds me of Baker. He reminds me of Baker Mayfield, man, big time. And then
Baker,
Baker's not bad. I'm just saying, but I don't know if he's also not a franchise guy. He's a good quarterback
that can get you to the playoffs.
That can get you to playoffs, but he also has his moments where he really struggles in certain games against better defenses and gets a little sloppy. But you're right. He can get you to the playoffs, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's
hit Roy's comment. How do you feel about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins got the bag. He got $100 million guaranteed. He's fine.
That is crazy
how would
to
you
me.
feel about Brandon Beane if we had, we just signed Kirk Cousins. We didn't have Josh Allen. We signed Kirk Cousins for $100 million, right? And then we drafted a 25-year-old quarterback who won't play until he's 28.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
There is no. First of all, if I'm Michael Penix, fine. I'll play that game. I'll sit a year. But two,
three?
Okay. Right. Two, maybe even two. Okay, maybe I'll play that game with you guys. But it's like, dude, even then, you're a first-round pick. I would think the 8th pick overall. Bro, I want to play. Like, I want to start. Fine, 1 year, fine. But by year 2, I'm thinking, bro, what is the plan for me? Like, if I'm his agent, like, if they have no plan year 2, let's say because Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback. Let's say year 1 goes really well for Kirk Cousins, which it could very well go.
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you do year 2? Well, hey, you're just not ready. You can't tell Cousins you got to hit the bench now, bud. You had a great season. You can't do that. I think Atlanta really made a bad mistake.
Like, it would have made sense if they took JJ McCarthy there, who's 20.
That's true.
Sit him on the bench for 3 years, like Jordan Love, as Scott talks about, and then when he's 24, he takes the field. That makes a ton of sense. But having a 24, 25-year-old quarterback right now who played
totally different
6 years of college football, and then have him sit for 3 years, he's 27, 28 when he's finally getting the start.
Right, and then you got to pay him.
Yeah.
In a year or two. Just throwing that out there, too. Then you don't even know what you really got, because by the time he's ready to play, he may not be what you think. He may be Trey Lance, but you're still willing to give him a chance because now you got Kirk Cousins gone, and now you got you got this first round.
They're locking Cousins for at least 2 years with a $10 million dead cap in the 3rd year.
Right.
And
man,
Penix may be better than Kirk right now, but either way, he's not playing. They're paying Kirk too much money.
No, that's not going to happen. It just won't happen.
Unless Kirk's hurt, is the only way Penix is playing.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, possible. It's very possible.
He's coming back off of an Achilles. So
I can tell you this much: if he has some bad games, crowd is going to. That's another problem too. I got to say too. When you draft a quarterback, and your other quarterback struggles, your starting quarterback struggles, crowd will quickly move on you, especially because it's a first-round pick and a top 10. They will quickly boo and start chanting. That's a problem. That will be a problem in Atlanta. So hopefully Kirk Cousins plays some good football, because if those boo birds coming out, and boy, that's pressure on the GM to tell the coach to put the kid in. And then you got a real fucking problem on your hand. So I don't know, man. That's a sticky situation in Atlanta.
Connor comes in and says the Jets QB room's looking good right now. Jordan Travis has backup quarterback written on to me all over him. I don't think he's good enough to be a starter. I think he'll be a career backup like the Barkleys and the Chase Daniels and things like that. We don't know what, after his knee injury, we don't know what kind of mobility he's going to continue to have. If he has the mobility he had in college, he'll be a top to mid tier backup because he can run around. But I don't see him being a starter down the line.
Any other draft picks that kind of surprise you? And it doesn't have to be our team.
Travis Clayton, the Pathway kid. They drafted him off of a tape.
The guy from that played rugby. You're talking about the last,
yeah,
bro. And he wasn't even, from what I heard, he was like on the they said like the 18, like he wasn't even a good rugby player. Like he wasn't even
but he's like super athletic.
Athletic, yeah. They say he's athletic, but I'm just saying he wasn't a very good rugby guy. So
yeah,
they're basing it off his athleticism. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, but that's my point. Like, why go him? Why not go?
You know, 7th round.
Right. It's surprising. Like I don't like that's
I
another.
Get why they did it. They did it so they didn't have to fight for everybody because he becomes an exempt player, so he doesn't count on our roster. But I'm like, still, I mean, that was kind of surprising.
Ooh, what do you want? You want to answer that? What do you think?
What do you consider rebound? Do I think he gets 6 or 7 sacks this year? Yes. Do I think he gets 12 to 14 sacks? No.
Oh man, that's a rough question, man. I don't, man. Honestly, man, I can't answer that until I see him in camp. I really can't, because from what I saw last year, he seemed to be getting better as the weeks went on, but he still never got to the quarterback. He got close a couple times. Mm-hmm. But I want to know, I want to see him in camp. I want to see him getting after the quarterback. Obviously not hitting him, but getting there before I can say that. Because I don't, at this point right now, I'll say it's really good to have him on the team for the young guys and still help out the younger guys and show them the ropes. But I don't, if I had to guess, I would say between 5 and 7 sacks. So and that's right around that's not, that's not terrible, production, but it's not great production 35. From the money. Yeah. But we knew, but listen, that's the game. That's the roll of the dice that Brandon Beane took by signing him and giving him that money. It is what it is. You don't think we're the only, the Cardinals, I think it was Cardinals, right? Mm-hmm. That rolled the dice on Jones, and Jones not even in the playing football. So at least we're getting somebody still that can contribute something, even that with being knowledge. Right. So it is what it is. He's going to be out there, and let's just hope we get something out of him.
This is you think Vaughn's going to get a sack? Love your optimism. I do think he's going to get a sack because he was playing better and better down the stretch. Yeah. He was getting closer and closer. Also it always takes more than it's like a year and a half, after ACL. So I do think he comes back, and I think he produces some sacks. I don't think he is that game changer or that closer that he once was. Mm-hmm. But he's gonna be a rotation guy in there.
So he was. So the answer is, he's saying, do I? Yeah, I think he was. Like, if you go back and watch the film, like if you really like, when me and Mikey would do these podcasts, like after every game, we were here saying, like, we did it in live time right away. Man, Vaughn didn't get a sack today, but man, you could see he's bending a little better. He took the knee brace off. Like, we could see it. Like, yeah, he didn't get to the quarterback. I get that part. That's the name of the game. But just like Trey White, when Trey White came back in 2022, late in the season, he wasn't. Come on, guys. You guys saw that, right? But as the season went on later, Trey started to get a little bit better. And then, boom, 2023, up until the injury, Trey White, he was looking pretty good. Now, he wasn't looking like old Trey White, but he was looking a lot better than 2022 Trey White. So these ACLs are tricky, bro. You also got to factor in his age. That's why we think it could be a bounce back sort of year for Von Miller as far as production goes. So, yeah, I can see him getting, around the 5 sack range.
And with his new contract, we can get him through the year.
Yeah.
And we'll be fine.
All incentive based. I mean, for the most part, like, he's still getting paid, but he reworked it where it's incentive based. So
Jason was right too. We were all wrong. I thought we would maybe take 8 and we'd trade up and down. Beane didn't do any of that. He took 10 guys.
I was surprised too. He did. He took a lot. And what we got next year? 13 picks.
Right. I think if we land all of the comp picks that they were thinking, which is 2 of them, right, possibly 3, I think we'll end up with like 11 or 12. We'll have a 1, 2 2s, a 3, a few 4s, 3 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s, and a 7 or something like that.
I think what you can do with those, if we're going to do any kind of in-season trade, it is ammunition. It is something something in his back pocket. Though he loves his draft picks, I'm just saying there's a ton of draft picks. And I think, you could start using them to do a trade if you have to in season. I'm just throwing that out there as well. Or even before the season starts, because after June 1st, I know we get some money for the Trey White. So you never know. Maybe there's some of those draft picks you could use in a trade to get a player. Now, Raymond coming in still thinking letting Mitch go is going to bite us in the butt. Very, very bad, like having your legs cut out from underneath you. What do you think about Mitch? You think you agree with that?
I was sad when he left. I feel much better with SVPG in the house. You have no faith in Will Clapp, huh? No faith in Will Clapp. I think McGovern's gonna be fine at center. I do. What my concern is left guard. I'm gonna be honest.
David Edwards over there.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I agree. I think they should have kept Mitch because that line was finally gelling together, and that's the best line we had. And then we cut the legs out.
I agree too. Why? I mean, especially if you're going to cut Trey, there's some money saved. You didn't need to. Like if I were by the way, I've been saying Mitch is probably going to leave for a while now, and I was wrong every year when they kept him. But yeah, the smart thing would have been to keep him one more year and then draft, SVGP, let him learn under Mitch Morse, who's a much better guy to learn under than McGovern. And then you let Mitch walk after next year, after this year, if he was on the team still. So yeah. I agree. And with Mikey's point, man, we just had that chain, right? Which I called a chain, all linked up. Everybody was linked up, working right, no injuries, went through the whole year, played probably played our best, offensive line play in years. And now you went and shuffled it up again, which is scary because, man, like the whole point was to protect Josh, our run game got better. And now you're playing that game again where we could be playing musical chairs again next year if Edwards doesn't work out at guard, if McGovern doesn't work out at center.
It's not just that. We also have pending free agent Spencer Brown.
That's true. Yeah, that's right.
His deal. So we may be playing musical chairs because
Edwards
signed a 2-year deal. So if he does well, which I think Edwards will be fine. The problem is we just lost all the depth. Hey Beth, how you doing? I
agree with that.
I like Triggs' comment here, and I hope this is what happens. I really do. Feel that Van Pan's we're gonna be our new center. He's gonna surprise people and take the center job and push McGovern back to left guard. I hope that's exactly what happens.
That would be now that would be ideal. And we said it in the beginning of this podcast. I wouldn't be shocked if this guy beats out McGovern at center, or they have him at least at camp do 50-50 splits with McGovern and see how it goes. And if he beats him out, yeah, man, put McGovern right back at left guard and have David Edwards as your rotation, on depth, because David Edwards last year filling in from time to time, not during the whole game, but in game from here and there. He did a great job, but we didn't really get to see much of him. He never had to go.
I loved him in the jumbo package and goal line packages. He's fantastic in that role. I wouldn't mind seeing him back there. Yeah.
So maybe that works out. And if that does, then cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're good to go. But
Scott, yes. When Josh throws the duck up in the air, at least we have a receiver that will play defense now. Coleman will try to catch it. There ain't no just watching the DB go up and get it like Davis did multiple times.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's gonna that's the one thing. I think that's also why Josh Allen probably wanted him. He wanted a guy because listen, not every throw is perfect for Josh Allen. Like sometimes you gotta make some pretty damn unbelievable catches. I mean, that's for a lot of teams, but this guy can go up and get those kind of catches, and also too in the red zone. Like we haven't had like a guy to do a fade route forever. I couldn't tell you the last.
Have a tall guy that can just jump up and catch it over.
Do somebody? A fade, yeah. Like When? Who?
Although
Like,
I'm
we
not
don't.
sure Josh is throwing fades.
Yeah, but we could.
He doesn't
mean
doesn't have the touch to throw a fade.
maybe not, but we don't know that. We haven't had the guy to do that. But here's your chance, and maybe that's something they do in camp. Maybe that's something Joe Brady, because this is a bigger guy. This is what you want. So you want that guy that can get those 50-50, those tough catches, highly contested catches. So that's what I'm excited for. And like I said, man, I don't think everyone's like, oh, yeah, Kelvin Benjamin. He's nothing like Kelvin Benjamin, guys. This guy's nothing like Kelvin Benjamin. So stop comparing him to that guy, because that guy is nothing like this guy. So
I love Triggs' comment here. Scouts and analysts were shocked that he fell to the 5th. He was projected as the 2nd or 3rd round pick. That happens all the time. Shakir was the same way, remember? He was projected as a 3rd round pick, and he fell to the 5th. It happens every year. John Solomon was projected as a 3rd round pick. He fell to the 5th. So there's a lot of guys who fell.
So Roy,
it was weird. It was a weird draft. I'm sorry.
I'm not hating on McGovern at all. Like McGovern. What we're okay. So here's out. So we're not hating on McGovern at center like so much. McGovern has experience at center in college. He has some in the NFL with the Cowboys. We're just saying that getting rid of Mitch and mixing things up on the line maybe wasn't so smart to do that right away. You could have kept Mitch, got a center, which they did now, had him learn under Mitch Morse for at least 1 year, and then go from there. And worst case, let's say this center don't work out. Okay, fine. You still got McGovern. You could do what you will with him. Then if that's the case, that's the case. And McGovern goes center, this whatever. But you also got to factor in David Edwards too. We don't know much about him starting at left guard. Like, there's a lot more to it than just we don't trust McGovern at center. Maybe McGovern is really, really good center. I don't know, but I also didn't want to hand him the keys right away and be like, all right, it's your job. And I think that's what the Bills saw and understood. And that's why they drafted this guy. I mean, that's what it tells me. It tells me they're just not going to hand the keys over to McGovern.
Also tells
they're going to
me
make him earn it.
McGovern had a 4-year deal, and he's going into year 2 with the 2 years left. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we can get out of it in the 4th year where a lot of money kicks in. And you're right, Jason. Free agent is an opener. I'm not hating on McGovern as a center at all. He may be really good. He says he's the most comfortable at center, so maybe he's a really good center.
Right,
I don't know,
right.
But we haven't seen Josh Allen with anybody other than Mitch Morse.
Exactly. And I said that too. That bond between center and quarterback, that communication is very important. You guys seen in the past when Mitch Morse went out, at least before we got McGovern, because Mitch Morse was healthy this year. Like, he didn't really go out much, like for maybe a play, maybe. I don't even remember. Mm-hmm. But in the past years prior, a center would come in and low snap it to him, or bad handoff, or just really bad miscommunication between the two. So it's very important you get the right guy, at center for Josh Allen, because it's very, very important to understand everything. So McGovern's going to have to really get a lot of reps with him. Like, I'm just throwing that out there, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm not saying it's bad. I don't want him to hand him the keys right away. I want him to earn it. Hey, Nickel City Mafia.
Yeah. We'll get back to that one. Go back to
go ahead.
Cameron Hayes.
Cameron Hayes, right here?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
It says if Dawson Knox and Cade can have contested targets, so should a 6'5" Coleman. He's 6'3", but I get what you're saying. How many targets Kincaid's going to complete? I think he's going to get about 120 targets this year. Kincaid. My guess is he gets about 85-90% of them. We'll catch about 85-90% of them. That's what I'm projecting. And then you're going to see Coleman will probably have about 75 or 80 targets. Shakir will have about 75 or 80 targets. Samuel will have probably about 65 to 70 touches, because I say touches because he's going to be in the backfield too.
Right.
Then you'll break it all down, because you have to remember we're replacing 240 targets a year, right? 160 from Diggs and like 100 from probably even more than that. 100 from Davis, and then we're replacing both Hardy and all the targets from our wide receiver room. So,
right.
I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah. All right, Nickel City Mafia coming in, our buddies over there.
Yeah.
Go like, subscribe,
and
to their channel. Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the podcast with Eric Wood and Connor McGovern? Feels like McGovern was told he's going to be the guy, and he's looking forward to it. Van Pran's really going to have to do something special. Yeah, I did see it. It's what actually made me feel more comfortable about McGovern going into the center spot. But that doesn't mean that, if Pran comes in and is as good as McGovern and Edwards is struggling, they're not going to slide, McGovern back to left guard. And if Edwards comes in and locks down left guard and McGovern's as good as Van Pran at center, that's going to be our offensive line. And Van Pran's going to be a backup this year.
Yeah, and I'm good. And I'm okay with that.
They also said the same thing about Cybo last year.
Right.
No one thought Torrance was going to start. Everyone assumed.
Whoa. I said he's going to start.
I'm talking about the coaches.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure.
If you heard the coaching staff, they said they're not going to throw him in there. They felt really comfortable with what they had. So,
Nickel City Mafia coming in with a super chat. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I may have missed your take on Coleman. How do you guys feel? Taking Coleman over some of the guys that were still there? Mikey, I'll let you go with that one.
Okay, I'll say what I said on draft night. I had guys I wanted more than Coleman. We let one of them get drafted ahead of him in Leggett, and then I would have preferred, Franklin or Baker or Polk or McConkey all over Coleman. But at the same time, once he was drafted and he's on my team, I'm going to root for the kid.
Yeah.
I don't hate Coleman. My biggest concern was he struggles with separation. I don't think he's Benjamin 2.0. He struggles with separation, and that Josh doesn't do well with that. But they were looking for a different type of wide receiver, so I will trust they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I was all on board, Mike.
Yeah,
with
you called him
Keon
right
Coleman
from the very beginning.
I did a video early, and he was my only video I did about any of the draft prospects. I was going to do more, but I just got lazy. I'm not going to lie. But Keon Coleman was the guy I wanted here in Buffalo, and I said it. I'll say it again, just because of the struggles we have, with drop percentage, and we don't have that high point guy. We never have. I mean, let's be real. The closest to it was Davis. But as you saw his last year, it just wasn't there. His effort wasn't there. I don't know what happened between him and Josh communication. And we were missing that. And I think Josh understands that he needed a receiver that can get high contested passes, and that's what he got.
Crazy good body
control. Crazy body control, good hands, great hands. And I don't think he's as slow as many people say.
He plays faster than his 40 time.
Yeah, I like the pick, but if I were to do it, and I said it before going to the draft, I would have definitely, my ideal draft would have been back-to-back receivers. Get your speed guy in the first round. Do what you got to do. By the way, I was thinking he had to maybe trade up to get a Worthy or Leggett, and they fell to you, and he chose not to. But that would have been my ideal, and then get Keon Coleman in the second round. There would have been a way to do it. I'm sure there would have been a way to do it. But it didn't work out that way, and that's fine. And but they better hope it works out. Because that was a really deep receiving class, and they only chose one. So, I didn't see that happening. I got to be honest with you guys, and that tells me that they're really sold on what they have in the room already. That they're sold on Shakir, and the way Brandon Beane talked about Shakir the other day, I think a week ago. I mean, man, it's almost like he's saying this guy is going to be the guy. So. I'm just throwing that out there. I just really, truly believe that they're looking at Shakir as potentially being that dude, potentially to be the guy. I could be wrong, but it just seems like he didn't really talk about that about Curtis Samuel. He didn't talk about that way about any other receiver on the team. He really really dug deep with Shakir. Now, Dalton Kincaid, to Mikey's point, yeah, I think he's going to probably be, because he's a hybrid. He's basically a receiver, right? He's a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be probably our highest
1.
targeted number 1. Most yards, highest amount of targets, receptions. But I would say watch out for Shakir as well. And I would say Coleman will probably have a 400-yard season. That's not terrible to start. I think Coleman's going to be one of those players that might.
He's not more.
I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know yet. Because I don't know where they're going to place him yet. We don't know what they're going to, where his, I just don't know what yet they're going to do with Brady's going to have him. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. He could have 7, 6. I don't know. I'm just saying his first
7
year.
and 9. Watch.
Ooh, I hope.
Look,
if he does, that's a really good year.
Kincaid was what? Target monster number.
I think he had 685.
And he had almost 700.
Yeah.
And most of it came down the stretch. I think Coleman's going to have anywhere between 7 and 9.
I'm going to say between 4 and 6. I don't see it his first year. I don't, but listen, I think we have a lot of guys. It's just to spread the ball around and to get a guy. So he would have to be our number 2. Put it this way, Kincaid's going to get what? Over 1,000, right? We're going to count on him to get over 1,000 yards.
I would imagine he gets
over
1,000.
So over 1,000. Then you got Khalil Shakir, who I think is going to take a big step forward. What do you have Khalil Shakir taking? Like getting yards wise, right?
And by
the way, we did this last year and it did not turn around that way. 700.
About 7.
Right. Okay. And then you got Curtis Samuel, who I think is going to get another anywhere between 5 to 7. And then you still got Dawson Knox, who still is going to be using this offense.
3 and 5.
Then you got James Cook. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I'm just throwing this out there. I think his first year. I'm just saying,
bust.
Listen, I just think his first. It depends how they use him, Mikey. If they use him for just more red zone, more. I don't know where they have him on the depth chart. We don't know yet. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Now, my ideal, I would love to see Coleman as the number 2. I mean, who's our number 1 right now? If you were to go into the season right now, who's our number 1?
Kincaid.
I'm saying receiver. I get what you're saying, but receiving wise, forget the tight end. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Shakir's our number 1.
A lot of people are saying Curtis Samuel, right? Like a lot of people that from outside. I'm just saying, we don't know. I would agree. I think so too, but a lot of people are thinking Curtis Samuel right now because of the experience and blah blah blah. Like, I'm just throwing it out there. So I don't know if that's so. I think it's a tie right now. I think it's a race right there at the number 1 between Samuel and Shakir, and then our number 2 would be I guess we're going to go with the rookie, right? Keon Coleman, correct?
I think Coleman walks in as the wide receiver 1, just between you.
Okay. So if that's the case, I'm going to say he had an excellent fucking camp. And if that's the case, I agree with you. And I think he can get around 800 yards.
I think he'll be targeted as our wide receiver. I think he gets the most targets of all of our wide receivers.
Here's my problem with Coleman. I love him, but I agree with you and your assessment of him before going to his draft. Separation issues. So when I go back and watch the film, that is a knock. It's true. It's real. He has a tough time with separation. A number 1, you got to get separation. It's tough for me. That's the part that Keon Coleman's going to really have to work. And he's going to have to put the work in to be that guy. If that's where you're seeing him at the number 1 going into the season, Keon Coleman, and he sounds so far to me like a guy that's going to put the work in. But talking and doing is 2 different things. He's going to have to put that work in with Josh. They're going to have to get and and I always said this too, Josh Allen takes a little bit to really get comfortable with the receiver. That's the other thing you got to factor in. It a little, that trust, right? That communication on the field, him knowing where Josh wants to, because Josh is not your average quarterback, right? Like, he does some wild stuff. You got to keep going when it comes to Josh as a receiver. You got to keep moving and know where Josh is going to go with the ball. Like, can Keon Coleman and Josh get that connection going early?
Josh,
I don't know.
Beane talked about it. He's already putting together the throwing camp for them. So they'll very much like he did with Diggs right away.
Right.
You know, they do the off-season throwing camp and they'll be fine. Listen, if he comes in and he only gets 400 yards, you're going to hear a lot of he missed, being messed up. I'm telling you.
It just depends on how he's using them. I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong, Mikey. I hope I am. And I think he's going to be a solid receiver in this league. I'm just saying, I just don't, I don't know, man. First year, getting that connection with Josh.
Someone put that in there. 7 to 900 is 50 yards a game. You tell me you don't think Coleman can get 50 yards a game?
Go look at his college film. Some of the games he's had some bad games. He's had under 50 yards. He's had 28-yard games.
He's also had some pretty bad quarterback play.
No, I get that, but with FSU, he had that was down the stretch. That FSU quarterback played really good, and he didn't go out until
3 games that he was there before he blew his knee out.
No, he played more than 3 games, Mikey. Played more than 3 games. I think he got out I think he got injured the last. I think there was like 3 or 4 games left. He didn't get hurt right away. Trust me. I think
they lost 2 quarterbacks.
No, I know. And then they lost their backup. I'm just saying. He also played for Michigan State. Before that, transferred. I'm just saying, look at the numbers.
You're really crapping on your guy right now.
I'm not. I'm just being honest. Listen, he needs work. I'm just saying, Keon Coleman needs to put the work in if he wants to be that number 1. If you're saying he's going to season as a number 1, for me, that's great news. That means he really put the work in, and he's improved on separation. Right? I'm just throwing that out there. And he's really getting that connection down with Josh early on in camp. I mean, Josh has a lot of guys that are that he's been playing with here still on the team with Kincaid, with Knox, with Shakir. I'm just throwing that out there. And then you got a veteran who's worked with Brady, who was Brady's old OC, and Curtis Samuel. You don't think he's going to be involved heavily with the offense? Of course he is. You also got James Cook. Like I said, I'm just saying he's going to have to build that trust, that connection early. He's going to have to work hard in camp if he's going to be that number 1 week 1. I just saying, I don't know. I don't know yet. Like I haven't seen him in camp. I don't know that is going to be great camp talk when we go to talk. You know what I mean? When camp starts, we're going to hear it all, right? We're going to hear what he's doing well, what he's not. But we'll see. We'll see. But I trust the guy. Just, like I said, Scott, Steve Smith Sr. didn't have him in his top 10. Are you guys drinking the Bills Kool-Aid? This was a terrible pick, says Scott. Any comments?
You can't just go by, Steve Smith Sr. knows, be all end all. Because you know what? They crapped on Puka Nacua. They crapped on Amon-Ra St. Brown. They miss on guys every year.
There's guys that crapped on DK Metcalf. That's why he dropped. I mean, it happens.
I mean, hell, the almighty Eagles, Howie Roseman, chose Rager over Justin Jefferson.
Or how about the guys that they highly praised and wound up being bust and out of the league in 2-3 years? It happens every draft. This is what they get paid. And I get it. Listen, I get it. But he's going to have to put the work in. He's going to have to prove why we picked him with our first pick in the 2nd round. Right? And that's that. So, but there's stories like that all the time where in these draft experts or the, outside national media, they get it wrong a lot. So, for me, it's when you get on the field, what do you do? Right? Like, so let's see, you can't, I'm going to say this. I don't think any pick rate, I can't say what any pick's going to do right now. Right? I can give my opinion, but it doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens at the end of the season, how they play. I mean, that's all we can say right now, right? Like, you can't say that guy's trash, bad pick, because Steve Smith doesn't like him. I could also direct you to other analysts that said that was a great pick. Keon Coleman was a great pick. Like, so just throwing that out there as well.
Josh Allen was a bad pick. If you heard everybody.
Oh yeah, you're right. I can't believe I didn't think about that. You're absolutely right.
He beat math itself.
Not only that, Josh Allen, from most media, now some liked him, but a lot of the national media hate him. Not only that, not me, but a lot of Bills Mafia booed the pick. They wanted Josh Rosen.
Mhm.
Okay, so, and how stupid do they feel today? And not only that, there's also outside teams, other teams. I remember laughing at the pick, not liking Josh Allen. I remember after his first season, what did I hear, Mikey? Josh Allen will never be good accuracy. He'll always be 58%, 59%. He'll never
53.
improve that. He'll
53.
always be, he'll always be that guy. Josh Allen improved every single year, got better. And now the top 5 quarter.
Shakir
Absolutely.
was like, oh, it was a great pick, but he'll never be much of anything. And listen, Scott, what makes you think Brian Thomas Jr. is any better than, because he's more athletic and he runs faster? The dude had ran like 3 routes at LSU.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of right, exactly. He didn't have a lot of experience. I get it, but we would also have to trade up. Yeah, it's all absolutely, it's a gamble. And we, by the way, we missed out. I say it all the time. We traded up for Cody Ford and passed up on DK Metcalf, and a whole bunch of other teams.
We drafted Boogie Basham and passed on Creed Humphreys.
Right. So there's mistakes. Listen, it's the way it works. The draft is funky. It's weird. You never know what you're going to get. Some of these guys are excellent in college, and they just don't pan out in the NFL. Some of these guys are late round picks that did bad at the combine or had some off field, whatever. Or they went to a school that was a Division II, or a school that wasn't one of the top schools. They fell to the 5th, 6th round. Look at Stephon Diggs, right? I think he was a 6th round pick, top 10 receiver in the NFL. I can go down the list of so many great players that weren't in the first round that got dogged on, and that's why they slipped or whatever, and they want to be great, or top 10 players that were supposed to be great and wound up being terrible. So let's wait and see. I think judging a guy right away is, I don't know, but it's your opinion, and it's Steve Smith Sr.'s opinion. That's fine.
That is what it is.
It is what it is.
Like I said, I wouldn't have taken him at 33.
Yeah, Mikey wasn't. So yeah, so Scott's it.
However, I would love for him to succeed since he's on my team.
Absolutely, and he will. I think everything I've seen so far from him, man, he is excited to be here. I love the fact that Josh wanted him here. I love the fact that he seems like a humble guy. He's a young kid. Looks like he's ready to work. Like everything about him. And then of course what he does on the field. Like, so yeah, there's some bad stuff that he needs to improve, but I think that's every player almost, right? We didn't get a top 5 pick. This wasn't a guy that, he's going to need a little bit of work. But we'll see, man. I hope he works out, and we'll find out. But if he doesn't, that's the way the draft goes, man. The draft is it's a roll of the dice sometimes, man. Yeah.
Hit Randy's comment.
Yeah, gotcha.
It says, I think he'll adjust, but we'll be a work in progress. Great hands. Real question.
That's what I think.
I'm more concerned with Brady's known. Listen, one guy wrote an article that said Brady's not known for scheming up guys. One guy. Matter of fact, on Greg Cosell on the One Bills live show today talked about that and said he looked like he was scheming up guys fine last year. He comes from a Sean Payton tree. You don't think Sean Payton knows how to scheme up guys?
Right.
Because one executive in the NFL said that, and they wrote an article about it. So now that got attached to him as a stigma is he doesn't know how to scheme up guys. He was scheming up guys fine last year.
I thought he did. Matter of fact, I thought he did an excellent job compared to what Ken Dorsey did, which was the Diggs and Allen show only. Mm-hmm. He finally got to open up the playbook, get these players more involved that weren't involved early in the season, like the Khalil Shakirs, like the Dalton Kincaids. You got to see those guys blossom and get better. And that's why I think also Diggs took that a little to heart, because he wanted to be the guy. And Joe Brady said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start using these players' strengths to our advantage on the offense.
And Diggs didn't like the scheme. It didn't
like the scheme. Exactly. So I feel like maybe that's what, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott realize under Joe Brady's offense. And then maybe that's what Joe Brady wants, is just a bunch of guys that could do a bunch of different little things, right? That benefit the offense. So, because if you notice the team, I would say, like, we got Curtis Samuel now. I think Curtis Samuel's such a great pickup, man. He's our Swiss Army knife. He could be everything, right? He could do a lot of different things. And then you got Khalil Shakir, who's our yak guy right now, right? And then you drafted our sure-handed 50-50 guy, our contested, which we didn't have. Then you got our hybrid tight end that could do a little bit of everything. Then you got Dawson Knox, who can block very well, right? And you got James Cook out, and also Ray Davis is also good out the backfield catching the ball as well. So, and he's more of a power back compared to James Cook. So we got a mixture of a lot of different weapons, and I like that. So, would I like one guy to be just dynamic, like right? And
we're
be all
use,
of that.
We're gonna use all the skill sets. Hit Scott's comment because I think I'm one right above it.
One above it. Okay, this one.
Yeah. Nope. No one above.
Nope. One above it. All right.
Nope. Well, no. Two down. It says I like the player Coleman, but it looks like.
If you're on YouTube, I'm behind probably.
It's down 1, 2, 3. It's the fourth one down from where you're at now.
Fourth one down from where I'm at now. Okay.
It says I like the player.
I see the other Scott. Okay.
Says I like the player Coleman, but it looks like there was better wide receivers out there. Should have double dipped. I've been screaming that since day 2 of the draft. I agree 1,000%. We should have double dipped.
I said it too. Like I don't. We said it. We said it in the beginning of this podcast.
I wanted us to take Troy Franklin in the second.
Why not?
Round.
He was available till I think the third.
Then you have your speed guy and your 50-50 guy.
Right. I'm with you 100%. Like if you're gonna, especially what they did. Getting out of the first round, fine. Like when we went in the second round, Mikey, and we drafted Keon Coleman, I said, okay, you know what? I would have liked the way I wanted it. Huh?
I threw up a little.
No, I know. But I was thinking Franklin's still out there, who's a speed guy.
Yeah.
He was dropping. And I said, man, this is falling right into our lap. It couldn't have been better. But I guess Brandon Beane felt differently.
He liked Cole Bishop, and he liked the defense tackle more. So it is. I really gotta watch more film on Cole, but he looks good, man. Yeah. I like what I saw. Triggs isn't wrong. Go down one more. Triggs is not wrong.
Right here.
We also have Curtis Samuel and KJ Handler. Both of them super fast.
Very fast. Yes.
KJ Handler, former second round pick, who's been battling injuries. If he can stay healthy, that actually might be a good wide receiver 5-6.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted Franklin so bad because he has that speed.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I feel like. I feel like he's looked at the roster.
He said that.
Yeah.
He said he liked some of the guys we had in the room already.
Yeah.
So that's maybe he feels confident about KJ Handler and Samuel and those guys to be that speed for to where he didn't feel like he had to go after another speed wide receiver.
Yeah. I
agree, Spin. The Carter pick was smart, although me, I'd been wanting, I wanted us to package a couple of the the round 5 picks to move up to grab him.
Yeah. But Scott saying I think the wide receiver room is perfect now. Remember, we are running under Brady, not saying we should under Dorsey.
Yeah. Big difference. Big difference.
It is a huge difference
in the scheme.
It is a big difference in the scheme.
If it's anything like that Saints scheme was, we're gonna run a lot of short stuff with Yak after, and then as they move up to play for it, we're gonna go deep because that's what Drew Brees did.
Yeah.
That's also what that LSU offense did with Jefferson and Chase. They threw short. They brought everybody up and then went over the top.
Maybe Franklin has 10 picks in the fourth being what I've traded up to get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
he killed my dreams.
I mean, Franklin dropped though. That was weird to me though.
Everybody dropped. A lot of people dropped.
No, I know, but I really felt like he was going to go at least
dropped into the 7th.
I know. I was surprised. Finally, somebody grabbed him. But he had some issues. I think in
dropped from the 2nd to the 5th.
They say Rice. The reason he dropped, at least from what I heard, was he had a terrible Senior Bowl or whatever, some bowl game. They said he looked terrible. That's what I heard. I mean, I'm just telling you what I heard.
He actually did well at the Senior Bowl.
I don't know.
That's what drove him up into the fourth round.
I'm just saying. Who are we talking about?
Rice. Like
I don't know.
That's why he was projecting.
Somebody, I heard somewhere. I forget who said it, but they said he had a bad bowl game or something like that, Senior Bowl, or he looked bad or something like that.
Bad in game because in practice he was fantastic.
I don't know.
He was mossing people,
but he didn't moss the draft. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, Triggs, I was heartbroken too when the Patriots took Javon Baker and Jalen Polk. Both those guys made me sad. Man. That's another thing, Scott. I like that Coleman can block too. We need it with Brady coaching. It's not just Coleman that can block. We also have Hollins, who's big, that can block. Cephas, who's big, who can block. Like some of these receivers that bringing in are blocking. So if we're going to run those bubble screens, and we need receivers who can block that has size.
Physical.
We have that now.
Yep, physical receivers. That's one thing Diggs wasn't. Diggs was never a physical receiver.
And if we're going to run those bubbles to Samuel or to Shakir, having those big dudes out in front of him to block, that's fantastic.
I thought Gabe Davis did a good job last year. I thought he improved.
Was a really good blocker.
Yeah, with blocking. Yeah, I thought he got better as well with that. It was just his receiving last year that was like, I don't know what happened with him. But, yeah, I agree with that as well. And by the way, too, I really hope that Joe Brady gets that. And Joe Brady and Cromer gets that offensive line and this offense better at the screen game. We have a weapon now. We have weapons now that can, and if we can't execute it, then it's really a waste of a down. Like, and that's one thing we have not done well on both sides of the ball. Defense, we can't guard it.
In the
defend it. And offense, we can't. Yeah, so we got to get better at that. Like, I mean, come on, man.
I don't disagree with Scott Blakely. We went from having a bunch of really small dudes to having some guys with a little bit of size in our wide receiver room.
We needed it. I've been saying it for years. We ran so small. Like Gabe Davis was our big. Like that's why I was kind of excited for the Justin Shorter pick last year.
Or Shavers. I think Shavers out.
Shavers had a
Shorter last year. Shavers was fantastic in preseason last year.
He did. He looked really good.
I'll be interested to see what he can do. Maybe he makes his presence felt on onto the roster this year as wide receiver 5 or 6.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
don't sleep on Hollins. Hollins is one of those guys who can do those 50-50 catches and
special teams guy too, man. Yeah, and he's always made a roster everywhere he's been. Now, mind you, he doesn't stay on the roster, but he's always makes it. He contributes.
Then he moves.
Yeah, and he moves on to the next guy that needs his services.
He's a fantastic special teams guy and late depth wide receiver room.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say this too. I mean, Mikey's right. Look for the guys like the Shorters, the Shavers, as well, because you never know. Listen, Shorter's still a project, right? We have him. We drafted him, right? And you never know. And Shavers also, you never know. So, I think we have good depth, good competition, bigger guys with different skill sets. So camp is going to be really fun this year to see these guys compete. I would say really like the receiving, like that's what I think I'm looking for the most is the receivers, like because that room's now full. A lot of guys with the different skill sets. I want to see who makes the roster. Very curious how that goes. So I'm excited for it, man.
Scott Blakely said McDermott brought up Shavers, in his presser. And don't sleep on KJ Handler. I mean, the kid's super fast.
He's fast. Yeah,
has return ability. And really fast. So, I mean, we have a lot of options this year, not a bunch of household names, you know what I mean? But a bunch of options, a bunch of guys who can play that there isn't one featured guy on this offense outside of Kincaid, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? That first year with Beasley and Brown and all them when, and it just seemed like everything started to click. For the Bills, everybody was unselfish.
Yeah. 2019, that was so fun. That year we got to the playoffs. That was the first year we got with Josh. We played the Texans, but that was a fun. That was like a fun year where you kind of saw because Josh was still having struggle with the complete. But that was his first year, I would say, where we finally got him some guys around him. We started building the offense, a little bit. Everybody started kind of doing their job, and
we got Mitch.
Like a lot of things happened there. It was that's the start of it. It just sucks. You know what sucks for me is this. Man, it sucks that we got John Brown so late in his career, because I think John Brown, Cole Beasley as well. But Cole Beasley wasn't young either.
We only had Sanders.
You're right.
1 year.
Sanders 1 year. And he wanted to be on the team the year before too.
Yeah. Now we have a bunch of those dudes who are young that kind of fit that same mold. So I'll be excited for this year also to see what new wrinkles Joe Brady has for this team.
Really, I mean, if you look at the team, Mikey, I mean, we've been doing this a while, right? And Josh has been here since 2018. Man, a lot of veterans.
I'm with you crazy.
A lot of veterans are gone, Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is starting to become a younger team now, like especially on the defensive side of the ball, right? If you look at the team overall, like Vaughn's going to be gone probably after this year, right? Now you got some Gregory Rousseau, by the way, picked up his 5th year option today, Mikey. I'm curious how that works out. They wind up paying him, after this year. Ed Oliver's still very young.
We picked up Groot's 5th year.
Yeah, today. So a lot of young guys, a lot of guys we drafted. You still got Bernard very young. You still got Christian Benford, who's still very young, and he's only getting better. Now you don't know what's going to happen yet.
Bishop.
Yeah, Cole Bishop, very young, right? You don't know what's going to happen with Kyer still. I mean, he's on if he improves, he's still very young. Yep. So the tide is finally turning. It sucked to lose those guys, those captains, those vets like Mitch Morse, Poyer, Hyde. But it's football. But you have to
do it all.
And it sucks we didn't win a Super Bowl with them. That's the worst part. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that because they contributed to where this team is at. Like, they got rebuild. They got this team. Yeah, and I respect them for it. By the way, Micah Hyde hasn't officially said he's done. I think out there.
I think we're gonna do it at a softball tournament.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. But just throwing that out there. He hasn't officially, but you might be right. He might do it there, and I'm fine with that. But I would say too, the safety room is also something to watch this year. I am curious how that works out, because Taylor Rapp,
I'm not nearly as concerned now that we drafted somebody
Edwards, and we drafted somebody. Yeah,
we have we signed Edwards. I thought Rapp played better down the stretch.
He did.
And we drafted a guy in there. I'm way more comfortable about our safety room now than I was before the draft. Although I think we overdrafted Cole Bishop. But listen, Sean McDermott has been a whiz with his
he has his knack with that. Absolutely.
If he thinks Cole Bishop's going to be great, who am I to, disagree with him?
Right. He's done such a great job with TVs. So, I agree. I totally agree with that.
I think that's the one outside of Hardy, who's in nickel. That's the one area we didn't draft, was an outside corner. So that tells you what they think about Kyer going into this year.
Yeah. Crazy. We got another Hardy with speed. All the Hardy guys.
Another punt returner. I like it. Except this one's with a D, not a T.
I know. It's just still kind of funny, man. And by the way, we got a UDFA with the last name Bills.
Right? Oh, we haven't even talked about it. UDFA, Frank Gore Jr.
I know that too. You're right. I forgot about him. Do you think that's kind of a solid to his dad?
No, because we met with him. We brought him in on a 30 visit. Like, Frank Gore Jr. was somebody that we had interest in throughout the draft.
All right. Okay. I'm just curious, because I almost kind of feel like too that was kind of a listen. I'm not saying he was bad in college. I'm just saying I almost feel like too. Frank Gore played here. I mean, of course he could have went anywhere else. Could have went San Fran where he played too, but maybe that was also solid too. Because remember, we also brung in 1 year. We brung in somebody else's son. I forget who. As almost like not a favor, but he didn't make the team. I forget who it was. A receiver.
I know. Yeah, it was a receiver. It was. He didn't make the team and he was gone. He's the only. He's like the only receiver that Brandon Beane's drafted that it's not in the league.
Right. Still, forget his damn name, man.
I can't his name either.
He's not in the league. So oh my God, big ass.
So right on.
So is that it?
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, man. So so it was an interesting draft.
Austin Prohl, thank you, DG.
Prohl, thank you. Yes.
Austin Prohl.
So let's before we get out of here, I guess we'll give our grades, right? So outside, I'm seeing anywhere from B to A minus. What do you give it though, Mikey? Before we go,
I would give it a B minus.
Okay.
I do. I think it's a B minus. They hit a lot of really good spots. Like I've said, I love the Carter pick. I love the SVP pick. Question marks on Coleman and Bishop. Love the Solomon pick. So I like what they did with late rounds. I think it's a solid B minus.
Okay. I'll give it a B. Sophia is coming with an A.
And that's great. That's fantastic. I hope when next year when we come back and look at it, Coleman's a star, Bishop's a star, Dwayne Carter's a fantastic rotational guy, and we're like, dude, we hit on like half this draft class,
right?
And it's an A, and Beane knows what the hell he's doing, and maybe I should stop questioning him. That's what I want from this class right now.
And Roy's right.
B minus,
B minus for now. Exactly what you just said, basically, Mikey. And I agree, B for now. Because it could wind up being an A or it could wind up being an F. I mean, but I will say this. We haven't had an F yet. I don't think there's even been close to an F, right?
No, it's because it's a solid draft. He hit everywhere he needed to hit.
Right. No, I'm talking about just Brandon Beane drafts in general.
Yeah.
Never had like a terrible grade. Like I'm just saying after when everything was said and done, like let's say a year later, and we look back, which we did. In the offseason, we did it one time. We went through every draft. We graded them. He's had very good drafts. I mean, have they been A pluses every? No. I would say, what would you say so far, Brandon Beane drafts? B plus, somewhere around there. A minus since he's been our GM. That's fair. That's very fair.
I don't think he's hit a bunch of superstars, but he's picked up a lot of really solid guys and guys who aren't even on our team that were picked up by other teams and went on to play really well.
I would say B plus, and I think that's being fair.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say B plus, not A, is because I think he couple mistakes by the Boogie Basham, the trading up for Cody Ford and skipping out on DK. Like there's been some questionable, but that's every GM. Okay. I'm just being honest. But he's also hit on some late round picks that people missed out on that are really good contributors or really good players that are still on this team. So yeah, and first round picks, Mikey, like what has he missed on first round so far since he's been the GM? First and second round. Like what are the first and second round that he's missed on? I think Cody Ford is the only one, right? Second round. Because AJ Epinesa is still on the team. You're right. Boogie Basham was a second. Oh,
yeah, missed on Boogie.
So is Boogie the only one? Boogie and Cody? Because Cody was second, right? Am I wrong there?
No,
he traded up.
No, I think those are the two that we really missed on.
Yeah.
In the second.
So what happens? But go look around the NFL. I can promise you, there's a ton of first round, second round players that are either not in the NFL or they're on their second team.
We talked about Howie Roseman, who's regarded as one of the absolute best, right? Picked Jalen Regular over Justin Jefferson. Go look at the
You're right. Yep.
Who's been fantastic. Picked up Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, Elam. Roy is right.
Elam.
How do I forget about Elam? So far, you are right, and he probably I don't want to say it. We'll see what happens this year. I'm almost about to say.
Here's the thing about Elam. I don't know if he's been a miss. I guess you can call him a miss because he doesn't play. But I think that's more the coaching because when he's on the field, he actually makes plays. They just don't put him on the field ever.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, man. If Elam can't get it right this year, he's going to – I mean, no matter what, he'll be a miss for Buffalo. Now, if he goes somewhere else and he fits in somebody else's scheme and we're like, damn, he wasn't that bad, after all, it'll still be a miss because we drafted him, right? He didn't do shit for us. He was a waste of a bet.
Do you consider Wyatt Teller a miss?
Yeah, for us. He's not a miss in general.
I don't look at it for a miss for us. I look at him hit or miss.
It's a miss because we didn't keep him.
Well, I don't put that on Beane. I put that on McDermott.
I put that on our fucking offensive line coach.
Yeah,
I put that on Beane and McDermott.
I don't put that on Beane at all.
I think he learned a lesson.
Yeah, if he's
you're right though.
And the coach
he saw something in him. You're right.
Move on.
I agree.
You know,
I agree with that.
So that's why I say if they've hit and they moved on, they still play really well. Like, who's the McLeod? Ray McLeod.
You're right.
We had him, we got rid of him, but he went on to play really well with Pittsburgh and San Francisco. And, I consider that as a hit for Beane. He saw something in him. Our coaches couldn't figure out how to use him.
Robert, Tommy, when you are 3 foot over the DB, that is separation. Tommy, people saying Keon can't get separation is repeat when somebody else says, listen, I'm just being honest. I'm the one that said to draft Keon Coleman.
No, I'm the one that says he can't separate. And that's because I watched the tape and he, in the NFL, he's not going to have 3 feet over the DBs.
Right. Now, and it's just not Mikey saying that. It's every draft analyst, it's every person that studies that. And not only that, then and forget what if you wanted to say, you know what, just like a movie, right? Like somebody might tell you a movie's terrible, and for me, I'll go, hey, I'll watch it myself. So Mikey's right. Go watch his film, judge for yourself. I feel like, yes, his separation is a little bit of an issue, but I also feel like he could correct that. And I feel like that's what you got coaches in the NFL to do. And that's what, not only that, that's the work you put in as a player. Like we said it earlier, Josh Allen had completion percentage issues and he put the work in. He got better. Players can get better at their craft. That's what they do. Or they can't, or they just are they who they are and they don't put the work in. I believe Keon Coleman will put the work in. You are right. He can go up there. He doesn't necessarily have to always have this unbelievable separation to get the football. That's what makes him special. He can get those highly contested ball, the 50-50 balls, whatever you want to call them. But that doesn't mean he shouldn't get better at separation. He's going to have to get a little better at that. And I believe he will. I mean, from what I see from the kid's character, I believe he'll put the work in.
He also called Andre Reed to help him.
Right. And Andre Reed, by the way, said no receiver we drafted has called him.
Yep.
Till now. It's the first time.
Yep.
That's very awesome to see.
We have Shakir with Molds and Keon with Andre Reed learning. That is fantastic.
Right. I really Randy, you're right. Punk God. Golly. I'll miss that dude, man. Like it sucks that we didn't get a chance to have him here. But it is what it is, man. That was a weird, messed up situation. And Scott, I always feel bad for that. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I saw him Scott say Diggs to KC in 25. I think Diggs is going to Dallas in 25 to play with his brother to finish his career.
I think so too, and I think that's why him and Houston came to that agreement as well.
Yep.
I think that was a mutual thing. I think he understands that Texans have their 1-2 guy there.
Diggs piss off Mahomes.
Yeah. But hey, good for him. And I think Jerry will pay for that too. Jerry will pay to have him play with his brother. It's good marketing as well. It's going to sell a lot of fucking jerseys. So I'm just throwing that out there as well. It's a smart move if you're Jerry Jones. Not that he doesn't get people in the seats. I'm just saying that's a smart move overall. And
Roy's cold.
What's
I'm going to miss watching Gabe do the gator clap to catch the balls.
Yeah, man, it's weird with him though, man. Roy,
I loved Gabe as a person.
Yeah,
I was super hopeful that he was gonna take that next step, and he just never.
I thought so too, but he wasn't bad though. I don't think he's bad, Mikey. I think he's
in Jacksonville and continues to grow.
Yeah, I do. I just think something. I don't know what happened last year though, Mikey. Like, listen, he had his, his issues since he was a rookie. Some things, right? But I felt like last year he just gave up, and he never gave up prior to that. Like he gave up on plays more than he did any other season. Yeah, it was just really odd. And then all of a sudden, him and Josh had this. All of a sudden, they never played together. Like he'd go one way and he'd go the other.
Yeah, they didn't read the.
It was really odd. So I don't know, man, but I wish him well, and I still think he is a good number 2. Is he the best number 2 out there? No, but dude, Mikey, 800 yards back-to-back seasons. You know what? It's not that bad. Like that's why I kept saying it's not that bad. We wanted him to get 1,000. Yes, of course. We wanted him to be like a T. Higgins, get 1,000. Of course, I think every team wants their second to get 1,000 yards.
That's who Coleman reminds a lot of people of, is T. Higgins.
Dude, if you then we got ourselves a fucking great
stud. Yeah.
right.
Because the things that were talked about T. Higgins were the same issues that Coleman's having.
Yeah.
Those
So
same knocks.
Roy's saying you should use this button, but see, Mikey doesn't have this tonight, but I'll do it for myself.
You better wrap it up.
Yeah, I don't have control on fan base. I don't have any way to do anything. I am 100% just a contributor. I can't control. Normally I control the chat. Like over on Friday nights, I control the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I have all the functions. Watch out for Casey for a little big Wayne. Then I'm walking on the Worthy trade, but he sacks Mahomes. We will be thinking Casey. I think Worthy, let me tell you, man, I think it's a great pickup for them. I don't know if it'll work for us. And I guess, Brandon Beane didn't see him as a first-round talent. And I know Mikey wasn't high on Worthy, but I think Worthy in the KC system will work out just fine. And listen, if Keon Coleman works out for us, then nobody's going to give a fuck that we traded them to him. But Keon Coleman needs to work out, because if Worthy and Leggett, either one of those guys, wind up being really good in the NFL or just really good contributors for the team, and Coleman doesn't, it is going. Guys,
it's not only that.
It's going to be bad. It's going to shit show here.
It's not only that. It's also if Dwayne Carter doesn't do anything, because that's what we got for him.
Dwayne right Carter hits, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Because that was what we got for him. So if he hits, we'll be fine. If he doesn't, it's gonna be bad. It's like, we gave up, this guy and didn't get anything back.
And got nothing. Right. Yeah. And then our second didn't work out. And they're like, all right, Scott, yeah, I'm doing the AFC shakedown. We always do it, man. I haven't stopped it yet. That'll be, we usually start that 2 weeks prior of the regular season. So we usually do like a recap of everyone's seasons or off season. And then we start week 1. So we'll 2 weeks before, and then we'll go ahead and go. So yeah, I'm still, the only thing that's up for debate right now, Scott, is not sure if Trevor will be back for the Patriots to do the Patriots. So if he's not back, I'll have to find somebody else that covers the Patriots, but everybody else is returning.
What about the Sutton trade to the Bills? I don't think Brandon Beane said there was no trades out there. We have a little bit under $3 million left. I don't see us making a trade for a receiver.
And this is the first time, because I used to say every offseason I don't believe Beane because he said lies before. I believe it'll
have to be after June 1 if it happens.
I still don't think it's going to happen. I this for some odd reason, and we said this before. Like, he says it all the time, and he does the opposite. I just have a feeling this time around he's serious, and he's not going to do it. I think he'll
sign somebody.
I don't like the signing. I don't like the guy signing already. So
I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Mike Thomas come in, because he played for both Ronald Curry and Joe Brady. I could see us going and getting someone like him.
I think it would be smart, but once again, OBJ, fuck no.
I don't think OBJ's gonna want money. I don't think we're gonna give it to him.
He's
I think you might be able to get Thomas on a cheaper deal.
Absolutely. And what OBJ is gonna play the smart role here. He's gonna play his card smart.
Probably end up in KC.
He's gonna wait. Watch, he's gonna wait until an injury happens. And he's going to sign a 1-year deal and he's going to get paid like $8 million or something. Watch, I promise you. He's going to do just that. So he's not going to sign anywhere, and he's going to play his cards. Like I promise you. So I wouldn't pay him that. Like he just doesn't. He doesn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying a guy
like
that has
he
issues like
good
that.
Last year, and what he
until
did.
he didn't.
Until he got hurt.
Right.
Because he always gets hurt.
Exactly. So I'd rather take my chance on a Michael Thomas, who might get hurt, but on a cheap deal. It's fine. Like he gets hurt. Oh well. I'd have to pay him $8 million, $9 million, whatever OBJ is gonna want. But anyways, Mikey, any last words? Anybody else
great.
out there?
Scott, I love that. Good odds for the Bills finally getting a 99-0 win. Just saying.
I know it's coming, man. It's coming. All right, it's gonna happen. Man.
All right. No, I think we're good. We'll be back Friday night to talk a little bit more and see what else is going on around the league. We have the rookie minicamp coming up. I'll go back and watch that Coleman's first 24.
It's fun. He's
the embedded stuff. I'll go back and watch that and see. I do think OBJ could end up in KC, especially if Rachel Rice gets hurt or gets in trouble.
Yep. So guys,
love Hollywood and Worthy and OBJ.
Yep. So guys, if you're new to this channel, like I said before in the beginning, you never watched us before, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and Friday nights we're always live at 9 p.m. This Monday show will return when camp heats up, right? Picks up, whatever, heats up, camp picks up. So right now we won't see you for Monday for a little bit, right? Maybe another month or so.
Mm-hmm.
But Friday you can still see us on Mafia Sports Report on YouTube, and if you want to watch us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, it's Tommy Talks Bills. We go live, same thing. So that's up to you. So other than that,
Tommy Talks. That should have been the name. Tommy Talks.
It's a great name, right? Because Tommy does talk. Tommy talks
a lot,
a shit ton. So, anyways, guys, man, we appreciate you. We love you. Bills Mafia rule, and we are out of here.
Go Bills.
Peace.
Okay.